A package in the mail, MSX games from Japan. Collecting without fail, those shoot 'em ups, that's the plan. He doesn't just collect them, he also codes them too. Join us and we'll go on electric adventures with you.
Hey YouTube, Electric Adventures here with my monthly update for June 2017. Sorry, a little husky. Yes, been an interesting month. Once again, still not a lot of video output from me, but have been very busy with real life stuff. Worked very busy. One of my daughters has been quite ill. I've been a little worried about her, but things go on though. So, don't want to bore you about that sort of stuff. So, well, let's get on with the retro gaming and gaming stuff. So, really low amount of pickups this month. And they're both actually for the PlayStation 4. So early in the month I found a second-hand copy of Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection. I have actually played all three original Uncharted games on the PlayStation 3, but I recently finished Uncharted 4 and I'm most looking forward to playing especially the first game and seeing you know, how they've jazzed it up, and it's been quite some time since I've played the first game, and I'll probably play number 2 again. I'm not sure about playing them all through. Maybe over time I will. So I got that. It wasn't very expensive at all, only about $12. Been taking all the pre-owned stickers off the back, and the next one was a pre-order. I haven't had this very long. I've only actually managed to play the game for half an hour, which I did actually broadcast live on my Electric Adventures Gameplays channel. I'll put a link to the actual video if you want to watch me play this game for the very first time. So I recorded from as soon as I popped the disc in until my daughter kicked me off. And since then, my 17-year-old daughter has been playing it non-stop and I haven't been able to play it again. So what's the game? It's none other than Crash Bandicoot. And really, this is actually one of the best games. I've only played it for half an hour, but I thoroughly enjoyed that half an hour and want to play it some more. My 17-year-old daughter has just been playing it non-stop and absolutely loves it. And my 11-year-old daughter is playing it right now while I'm recording this. So, as you can see, the disc is not in there. So she's inside playing this right now. So she's gotten into it a lot as well. On that same thing, she's been playing the Switch and really enjoying it. It's interesting to see another one of your children get right into gaming. She has been playing Zelda and more Zelda, so much so that I actually bought her that new DLC pack for it, which gets her some extra things now that was released with the DLC pack, and then later in the year she gets another lot of expansion. So I'm not much into digital things, but obviously just to increase her enjoyment of that particular game. And interestingly enough, she's dragged out a 3DS, and her older sister, who's moved out, had I can't remember which Zelda game it is, but one of the other Zelda games on the 3DS, so she actually started playing that as well. So she's become another Zelda addict. So we have another Zelda addict in the family. So that really is all of the pickups. I will have more next month because actually today, which is obviously in July, I got some more things that I'll be showing in next month's video, but you'll have to wait and see for those, although probably those of you who follow my Instagram feed will probably see pictures of those things. So that's one way you can usually tell of things that will be coming up in videos on my channel when I get the time to actually record the gameplays and things, is if you follow my Instagram feed. Now, also, I haven't had a chance to watch a lot of videos, so I probably have missed some community questions. There's another Friday Foursome by Novabug, where he's talking about wants everybody to pick their top 4 fighting characters. Now, since I have hardly played any one-on-one fighting games, I really do not know any of the characters. So feel free to go answer that question, because he was a bit disappointed in the lack of responses to his previous one, myself included. I missed that one as well. But go check out his video. So there's a good plug for Novabug there to go and answer his Friday Foursome question. I've answered a few of his in the past. Just that question's not particularly my cup of tea. My responses wouldn't be very valid. I had a bit of a look around. I couldn't really find any other questions that I weren't like, you know, a couple of months or so ago. So there's nothing. I mean, there might have been something that I missed. So I thought I'd ask one of my own. So what I'm going to ask people, if they're interested, is to pick a system that you grew up with. It doesn't have to be your first system. Mine's not going to be the first system, it's actually going to be my third system. And pick 3 games that were that showed off why you liked that system back in the day and what attracted you to it. Okay, so my system I'm going to talk about is the MSX. Of course, I have a very large collection of MSX games. I program for the MSX, and it's a system that I really grew up with in the 80s and really enjoyed. Obviously, before that, I had the original Spectra Video, the precursor to the MSX, but there weren't actually many games brought out for that other than ones that I wrote. So that was a little harder. I probably could have picked that, but it would have limited my options a bit. And before that, I had a TI 99.4, but I only ever had 2 games for that one. So I thought I'd go for the MSX, because obviously I've got a bit more to talk about. So 3 games, and I've picked 2 cartridge games, and these were cartridges that I had that were available back in the day. I could never afford to buy copies of them, but I played them in the store that I worked for. And 1 tape game. So I'll start with a tape game. We did have a few tape games. Mostly they would have been, quite a few of them were Spectrum ports, but back then I didn't mind. Like, as an example, being able to play Manic Miner, a game that I always wanted to play, because you couldn't get hold of Spectrums very easily either down here as well. So being able to get Manic Miner for the MSX, I can remember being extremely excited about that. But I haven't picked Manic Miner. I've picked another one of my favourite Activision games that I loved on the Atari 2600. So being able to get Hero for the MSX, and it is graphically better than the Atari 2600 version and plays very, very well. So this is an example of a game, and although quite a lot of tape games for the MSX are running like a Spectrum emulator, so they run slow and don't really show off the machine's capabilities, Activision was a company who ported their games very well across all systems. So pretty much whatever one of their games you pick, and whichever system, you're going to get a good game out of it, and it will take advantage of the machine's capabilities. Pretty much identical to the Coleco version. I do not have the Coleco version of this game, but I do remember playing it back in the day as well. So Hero is one of mine, and these are in no particular order. The next one, we did get quite a few cartridges from Sony, because we had the Sony MSX. The Sony Hitbit was one of the MSX machines we had. We had the Spectra Video and the Sony, and up the road at one of the music stores they had the Yamaha MSX. So we actually did have Sony cartridges. They were the more affordable ones. They came in these nice square boxes, they're all the same. And this is an actual Australian copy of Choplifter. And Choplifter I can remember playing on the Apple II computers at my college, and really enjoying it, and I thought it was fantastic that I could get Choplifter for my MSX, and it's a pretty damn good version and an enjoyable game. So I'm lucky to have a complete copy. This is not a copy I bought back in the day. Even though the Sony cartridges were a bit cheap, a bit more affordable, I still couldn't afford them back then. So I was very lucky to have a complete copy of that one. And I do have quite a few of the Sony titles nowadays, and they're all pretty good, distinctively good games for the system. And then my pick of the bunch, so to speak, so I suppose this would be my number 1 from back of the day, is, and this is a Japanese copy, so I would have had the English copy available back in the day, and it is Nemesis, also known as Gradius. Now the MSX game is particularly colourful. Yes, it does have the scrolling's a little rough, but at the end of the day it gives you a very good representation of the arcade gameplay within the limits of the machine, and it has all of the levels from the arcade. It's including an extra part of a level as well, so it has more than any other version of Gradius or Nemesis on other systems. So it's a very unique game in itself, and having a system that could play this sort of game back then was fantastic. And I could have picked any of the other Konami games that we managed to get back in the day. Now, at the shop that I used to work for, we probably only ever got 2 copies of this, and same with most of the other Konami games. And some of them sold straight away, so I never got to play this very much back in the day because they were never in stock for very long. Another one I could have chosen is called King's Valley. I used to love that game, but we only had it in the shop for a very, very short period of time. I did get to play some of these games later on when I got my Spectre Video 7th out with a disc system, and people were passing around cracked ROMs on discs and things like that. So, alright, you don't have to obviously do a response to this, but feel free if you want to. Your top 3 games that show why you liked a particular system. There we go, bit of a convoluted one. So not much else in this particular video. I have actually had a chance to record some footage for some upcoming videos, so my A to Z of my Atari collection will continue, and depending on how I go tomorrow, I'm going to record another episode of Let's Make a Retro Game to replace the footage that I lost a while back. So I can get that series going. But before I sign off, I'd also like to play a snippet from my current game that I'm working on, which is for the NES, and it's Sydney Hunter and the Caverns of Death. Now please excuse the fact that some of the colours aren't quite right. Managing tiles on the NES is a complex process. I have improved my developer tools quite a bit and my map editor, but it's a bit of a juggling act to make sure that you've got enough tiles to go around and to enter all of the shapes. And the actual engine of the gameplay section is still quite buggy, but it's a lot more progress than just title screen, which is probably the last thing that I showed. The game's definitely moving along, and hopefully now that the part of the year when my girls do dancing is coming to a close, I'll be doing less dad's taxi and things like that, and I might actually get more time to work on it. And I'll be able to bring you another update soon, so hopefully by the end of this month we should have a much more complete game. So I hope you enjoyed that quick look at Sydney Hunter and the Caverns of Death. It obviously is a work in progress. A few things to fix, but it's definitely moving along there. Now, one more thing before I go. Also, just earlier today, the guys behind a group of YouTubers called Retro Unlim, of which I have been a member of in the past. I just haven't had time to follow up about it. They've finally got their new version of their website going. So it's a really nice, friendly YouTube community. You should definitely check them out. I'm part of the community as well. Great bunch of YouTubers. All the content from them is very well made. Obviously predominantly UK based, but there are a few other people on there from around the world as well, and they welcome other people to join, and you can post videos in the community section as well, and maybe become a main contributor as well. But definitely a great bunch of guys. Guy who runs it, Stephen, is very good, and has worked very hard to get the latest version of the website going. Unfortunately, the last website they were running had quite a few issues, and he's had a lot of trouble and angst trying to get that sorted out, but he finally has. New website is great, and go and check out some of the content. So rather than calling out any one particular individual, go to that website, which I'll put details down below. Try and put a picture up there with a link as well, and go check it out and join the community. Always a good bunch of guys. Alright, I hope you've enjoyed this update. I'm Electric Adventures. Thanks to all my subscribers. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.